and welcome to the first edition of the program Animal Live on ALCM TV Mabushi, Abuja. My name is Fatima Suleiman. Animal Live is brought to you in order to clarify on everything you need to know about animals. And this week our focus is on the duck. The duck, also known as Anas plytrincus, is the common name for numerous species of waterfowl in the family of waterbirds. Ducks are generally smaller and shorter necked than swans and geese, which are members of the same family. Divided among several subfamilies, they all love to swim and play in water. They also love to patrol for slugs and snails. They all are very disease resistant and they are fun to watch as they go about their daily life. Ducks are mostly aquatic birds and may be found in both freshwater and seawater. Ducks are waterfowls that are widely raised around the world. In tropical climates, they are commonly found in areas with high rainfall, such as deltas and riverine areas. Advanced countries in temperate climates also keep ducks commercially. In Nigeria, local ducks are raised alongside domestic chickens and are hardier and more resistant to disease than chickens. However, cultural beliefs have limited the numbers of ducks kept in Nigeria. With the development of research and technology, these cultural barriers can be overcome and the productivity increased. In Nigeria, local ducks are raised on the free-range system alongside domestic chickens. There are many species of duck, but the following breeds appear to be common in Nigeria: Muscovy, White Peking, Buff, Blue Swedish, Aylesbury. It may interest you to know that the male duck is called a drake, a female duck a hen, and a baby duck is a duckling. And these dogs have some amazing facts. The duck has highly waterproof feather that even when the duck dives under water, the downy underlayer of feather right next to the skin will stay completely dry. The duck is omnivorous and will eat grass, aquatic plants, insects, seed fruits, fish, and other types of food. Ducklings younger than 10 days tend to swim and walk as groups always close to their mother to avoid attacks by predators. The duck is an outgoing social animal which feels most at ease when in large groups of other ducks. Ducks can live up to 20 years depending on the species and if it's well cared for. Ducks have been domesticated as pets and farm animals for more than 500 years. Dogs are very special animals that have a strong instinct to live in a group. Dogs are very social animals that have a strong instinct to live in a group. The dog can become very sad and lonely if it does not have companionship of its own species.
Domestic dogs have been a part of people's lives for centuries. Throughout history, they've been a source of income, food, and down feathers. People have found that they can feed their dogs with simple, local food and still get a great return of investment. This makes them a valuable resource for people all over the world. Duck meat and eggs provide quality protein, energy, and important vitamins and minerals, making them a nutritious and tasty food source. When properly included as a part of a well-balanced daily diet, duck meat and eggs can supply a substantial portion of the nutrients required by humans. Ducks may be raised in small or large flocks. A small flock of ducks may be kept by a household as a supplemental source of food or income. A small flock of ducks can be established at low cost. A higher investment is required to establish larger or commercial flocks, which require better buildings, equipment, and feeds. However, greater income supporting several families may be realized if a large flock is properly managed. Ducks used for domestic purposes typically fall into the common duck group. The Muscovy duck, also known as the Cairina moschata, is a unique breed that is genetically distinct from common ducks. Although the Muscovy is thought to have originated in South America, ancient Egyptian records suggest that a similar breed may have existed there as well. There are two main varieties of Muscovy: the colored variety and the white feathered variety. The most striking feature of this breed is the caruncles of its head and face, fleshy growths that give it a very distinct appearance. The Sudani is a breed of Muscovy found in Egypt. Unlike common ducks, the head of the face of Muscovies is covered with caruncles, a fleshy growth that resembles wattles. Another prominent feature of Muscovy ducks is the large difference in body size between the drake and the duck. The male weighing 30 to 50% more than the female. Muscovies tolerate hot weather much better than common ducks. Muscovy eggs require about 35 days to hatch. While Muscovies can be crossed with common ducks, their offsprings are sterile. When Muscovy ducks and common ducks are bred together, the resulting offspring are sterile. This means that they cannot reproduce on their own and must be bred through artificial means if the goal is to create more ducklings. While this has become a common practice in the poultry industry, it is still an interesting and little known fact about these two very different types of ducks. These sterile hybrids are called mole ducks. In some cases, special names are assigned to hybrids by commercial breeders. For example, one hybrid produced by crossing Muscovy males with Peking females is called mollard. Such names may identify the commercial breeder and this particular strain of Muscovy and common duck used to produce the hybrid. Tips for selection of the best ducks for your needs. Before choosing a breed of duck, first consider your needs. You will want to think about things like climate, egg production, and other factors that are important to you. You may decide to choose a native breed that is well adapted to your local weather conditions, or you may opt for a non-native breed that performs better than local breeds. Regardless of your choice, you can find the right ducks from a commercial breeder or from other duck keepers. For those who are looking for a duck breed that is primarily for meat production, the Peking duck is a great option. This breed is able to gain weight quickly when fed a diet that is rich in protein and other nutrients. Peking ducks can reach 90% of their adult weight by 7 weeks and can weigh as much as 3.2 kilograms at this age. Keep in mind that Peking ducks require a special diet to reach their full potential. Their growth rate under less favorable conditions will depend upon the quality of the diet they are fed. But even under less optimum conditions, Pekins can do quite well. The meat from Peking ducks is very tender and succulent and also known worldwide for its delicious taste. Some meat-type breeds, such as Aylesbury and Rouen, and unimproved lines of Pekins as well, have become less popular in recent times, due in part to the development of improved commercial lines of Peking or other white-feathered Peking-like dogs. The Muscovy dog is also a popular meat dog in some areas of the world. This breed is presently very popular in France. The large breast muscle of the male gives this breed an advantage over common dogs, which have considerably less breast muscle. However, the large difference in body size between the Muscovy drake and dog, as already mentioned, as well as the fact that Muscovies have lower fertility rates than most breeds of common dogs, are major shortcomings. While pure Muscovy dogs are typically poor egg layers, commercial breeders in France have been able to partially overcome this through selective breeding. Molly dogs, which are a cross between Muscovies and Pekins, exhibit less sexual dimorphism than pure Muscovies. They also have a leaner body composition than Pekins, making them a good choice for those looking for a meat dog that is leaner than the typical Pekin. Selection of breeding stock is one of the first decisions to be made in any breeding program. This selection of dogs for breeding purposes should be done as early as the 8th week and again at the 4th and 5th months before placing the breeders in the breeding pens. By the 5th month, all healthy dogs should show well-developed bodies. Selection criteria usually include body size, posture, feather, color, build shape, and also the drakes should be same age as the females or even a month older. They should be raised separately from the females and put together only when they are ready for mating. Stock selection. Buy breeding stock from reliable dog raisers in your locality. It is advisable to start with day-old ducklings, but be sure to buy those birds which have the following characteristics: steady legs, alert eyes, healthy looking down feathers, no physical defects. When you receive a shipment of day-old ducklings, it's important to separate the males from the females as soon as possible. The process is called sexing or duckling sexing. Male ducklings can be easily distinguished from females because they have a well-developed copulatory organ called a penis, which female ducklings don't have. One common method of sexing is the Japanese or vent method, which involves looking at the vent area of the duckling to determine its sex. This is easily done by carefully holding the duckling gently but firmly so as to expose the vent. With the finger and thumb of the other hand, push back gently on either side so that the vent is extended and opened. For optimal fertility in a flock of laying dogs, local dog raisers recommend one male for every 6 females. Research have shown that fertility rates drop when there are more than 10 females per drake. Keeping a balance of 6 females to 1 male produces the best results. Eggs produced. Up to the 4th day after the removal of the drakes from the breeding pens may be considered fertile for a profitable degree. Laying hens typically lay their eggs at night or in the early morning, so it's best to gather eggs after releasing them for their morning feed. The dogs that are still laying should be allowed to continue, which could be collected later. Modern dogs of egg laying strains can produce as many eggs as productive laying hen, giving flock average in excess of 270 eggs per year. They start to lay at about 18 weeks of age. Traditional local duck breeds typically lay 60 to 80 eggs per bird per year. So collecting those eggs is important. At backyard farms, empty cartons can be used as nesting boxes for eggs. These nesting boxes should be placed in a secluded area to avoid disturbing the ducks. Under the tree-range system of production, the reproductive cycle of ducks have 3 phases. The first phase is the laying phase, which lasts 15 days. During this time, the female duck will produce an egg about once per day and the incubation phase 28 to 30 days. If you're planning to hatch duck eggs at home, you can use a mother duck or even a broody hen. However, if you're trying to hatch eggs on a commercial scale, you need to make sure the eggs come from mated birds and that they are free of defects like cracks, thin shells, and dirt. A commercial hatchery will use special equipment to incubate the eggs, ensuring the best possible hatching rate. When hatching duck eggs at home, you should never use eggs that are cracked, thin, or dirty. Thin and porous eggs, or those with cracked shells, often have fungal or bacterial infections that can contaminate other healthy eggs. These defective eggs can be detected by inspection or by listening to the sound they make when gently tapped. Healthy shells make a clear, resonant sound, while defective shells make a dull, hollow sound. Duckling is young. They require extra care to keep them warm and healthy. This process is called brooding, and it involves providing the ducklings with heat lamps and other special care until they are able to regulate their own body temperature. Brooding is especially important in the first few weeks of a duckling's life. The most critical period in the life of duckling is the first 3 weeks. During this time, any slight disturbance would cause them to stampede around in a corner, resulting in the death of the weaker ones. It is therefore important to approach them with 1 hour extra care during brooding. In duck raising, feeding is very important. Under the free-range system, birds are reared with minimal attention by the farmer with respect to what the ducks eat. The scavenging ducks feed on grasses, seeds, insects, and have access to pond which provide them with natural food in the form of slung-water fleas, etc. As a general rule, the duck benefit better than the chickens from a relatively energy-poor and cellulose-rich diet. Duck on free range are able to balance their nutrient intake since they are not restricted in movement. But under confinement, the farmer must provide the birds with balanced feed for enhanced production. The constituents of feeds that are needed by ducks are called nutrients. These consist of water, carbohydrates, protein, minerals, and vitamins. If you are interested in breeding ducks for egg production, consider one of the high-producing breeds like Khaki Campbell, Saya, or Indian Runner. These ducks can lay up to 230 or even over 300 eggs per year. While these breeds are smaller than meat-type ducks, they more than make up for it with prolific egg production. Often ducks are kept as source of meat and eggs, and for their feathers as well. A number of breeds such as Pekin, Aylesbury, and Merle can meet these requirements. Some compromise is necessary when a strain is selected for both meat and eggs. Generally, ducks that have heavy weights at market age are not the best egg layers, and ducks that are good egg producers are smaller in body size. Edward Pepper's line is usually selected for moderate body size and satisfactory egg production. Local breeds are often good choices if both meat and eggs are needed. In the rice-growing regions of Asia, ducks have been herded for centuries. Native duck breeds were selected over time for their ability to forage for food in rice fields, leaves, swamps, and waterways. This practice, known as the herding system, makes duck a sustainable and efficient source of food in these regions. A flock of herded ducks may be the major source of income for one or more families. Examples of breeds of dogs selected for herding are the Alabio and Bali of Indonesia and the native Maya in China. The name Maya refers to very common dog found in the rice-growing areas of China. The feather coloring of Mayas resembles that of the female mallard, and for this reason, Mayas are sometimes called sparrow ducks. Dogs have an insatiable appetite for bugs and grubs, making them a great organic choice for pest control in the garden. They nose their bills through the top inch of soil in hopes of finding anything that moves. Many people attest to the benefits of poultry to reduce the population around a property. Unlike chickens, ducks do not scratch the ground and so will not scar a lawn. Eggs are one of the major reasons people choose to keep ducks. Not only do duck eggs have a richer flavor than the chickens, but they are actually higher in several nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D, and they are just as easy to collect as chicken eggs. Ducks have higher vitamin and mineral content per gram of egg, although this largely depends on what goes into their diet. By moving other ducks around the farm, we keep them happy with a variety of bugs, grubs, and plants. It also helps us save on their feed bill. If you try to compare chickens or ducks to find out what is better layer, you will realize that it comes down to breed. Always look for a good laying breed before you keep ducks for eggs. We mostly keep white layers. Regardless of the breed, ducks will generally stop laying over the winter. Duck meat tastes excellent. It often has higher fat content than other poultry meat. But in all honesty, the fat is where all the flavor is. If you want a good tasting meat bird, bring on the ducks. Nothing can make you feel more like you live on a lovely farm than the sound of dogs quacking. There is nothing harsh about it. Unlike chickens, you never get the feeling like you are going to lose an eye or have your hands pecked by a dog. I think dogs are much nicer to have around young kids. Dogs can be used to clean up garden plots that have finished harvesting or greenhouses that have prepared for the next crop. They will eat any pesky bugs that may be residing in the soil, as well as any previous plants, seeds, and roots. They provide a wonderful natural fertilizer wherever they roam. As they forage, they leave behind a precious gift that feeds the surrounding plants. Dogs do not have sphincter muscles, which means they cannot control their bowel movements. This results in the good stuff not being too concentrated. In any one particular spot. It's an easy way to improve soil quality whenever the dogs are walking. When their pen is cleaned out, it can be deposited on the compost pile. Dogs are the easiest thing to herd on feet. If you can slowly walk and occasionally put them on arm out, you are capable of herding dogs. Dogs are messy if contained continually within a specific area. They will in time turn to mud. Dogs require plenty of fresh water for cleaning and staying healthy. Water needs to be changed regularly in order to avoid diseases. Some breeds of dog can be very vocal. Unlike the chickens, which have regards for its eggs, dog lay eggs anywhere and dogs can be very loud.
This is where we come to the end of the program, Animal Life on ARCN TV. I am Fatima Suleiman saying, keep watching ARCN TV for more of our programs.